Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Again, here from L'Aquila in Gran Sasso, Italy, for the World Series final. We have the first runners reaching the 10-kilometer, and we're now passing on to images in Campo Emperatore, where the first runner. Actually, it seems it's a group of runners that is getting now to the 10th kilometer. We are seeing images now. Here they come. I had information Morgan Pillay and Cody Reed and also Alexander were coming. We can see that Cody is there. So here the first two runners, Morgan and Cody leading the race. I think this is basically most of the expectations for this stage. It's very, very interesting to see these two guys here in the passing the 10th kilometer mark with a 400-meter ascent. They're going at a very steady but fast pace, it seems. We have Morgan with the tracking poles there. Cody going for more of a running approach directly without the poles. This is Campo Imperatore. Campo Imperatore is basically set around the 2,000-meter mark. They still have a long climb way ahead, and they just passed together almost the King of the Hill. And this is very interesting to see which one, or was it a tie on the King of the Hill, the first segment of the race. There's an aid station here where both runners are going to refuel. They seem they're going comfortable together with one another. Cody there speaking with his crew, which is giving support that's a member of our team there, giving support to them. And we're seeing here Campo Imperatore from the above. I'm going to ask the team if they can put the drone image back there again. Cody going a little bit ahead now from Morgan Pillay, now in second place. This is the just before the aid station, the finish of the first segment, the King of the Hill. Cody's looking back now to Morgan. I think they're going very comfortable, both of them, thinking the direction to follow. And we have the third place runner here as well, passing the King of the Hill point in the aid station at Campo Imperatore. Roger Dari Grant, U.S. runner living in Brazil, second place in the Rio World Series last April, the first qualifying race of the World Series here in the strong fourth place. Pretty much these runners are going almost together. It's maybe 200-meter difference between the Cole and Morgan and Roger and the third runner. So pretty much a pack there together. If it matches what we have on the live tracking, I was going to ask if the team could put the live tracking image here, the update. Just updating here the GPS tracker to see the current position of the pack following. We have now the images from the GPS tracking. I was going to ask if we can zoom in the image to see the so everyone at following at home and here in the Square Piazza San Bernardino in L'Aquila. Could see the images. So if we could zoom in the front pack first. We'll see Morgan Pillay, followed by Alexander, Cody, and also Roger. They're at the front pack, and if we could see the follower pack of runners just behind. Then Emanuele Ludovisi, very strong runner. He's very close to getting to the King of the Hill segment now. And I'm going to have, for a few moments, Pino is coming back to the streaming. I'm going to ask for some comments here from Pino.
So we are looking the images of the women arriving in Campo Imperatore after 10 kilometer, 10K, and we see them drinking, taking water for the next 10 kilometer. We have to remember that there is a great organization because every 10K the athletes find a new place where they can drink, they can eat something, and they can find also people from their family or from their club that can help them on giving some suggestion, giving them the partial position or timing. You see, they drink absolutely enough because they have to cover a so long distance. And after a short stop, they begin again to run. They begin walking and then begin to run, going for the second part for the K from 10 to 20. Is absolutely incredible to make a check between this kind of race and the normal race on flat. You see the weather conditions are perfect for the athletes in Campo Imperatore after the first 10K of the race. They was starting at 3 o'clock is 1 hour and 20 minutes about, and they are proceeding walking and running. Very good images, and sometimes we have some stop because the condition, the mountains that don't permit to reach the line and to follow all the event. You see that there are people during the race to help the athlete to give suggestion. And they can go followed by people during the race. They give all the information or they give their opinion. Take your chair.
We are seeing here in the image now Cida Maria Cunha, the winner in the Rio Caminho do Ouro World Series in Brazil, followed by Leticia, who was second there, and Sofia Rocket, that winner of the 100-miler qualifying stage in Portugal. They're following very close by. They've, this King of the Hill section is very steep. We see Sofia here using the technique with the hands on the knees to go faster. Leticia is using the tracking poles as well as Cida to try and make the climb more faster and potentially save their legs for further on. But these are different running techniques, and there's still steep climb ahead. We have potentially around 400 to 400 meter climb still up to the top. They've maybe done close to 600 meter to 700 meter this far, around about 10K, just slightly more. And we're seeing now Leticia approaching Cida. This is a very close fight. It's very interesting. These two ladies in Brazil fought very hard. Then Leticia struggled with an injury and did an amazing effort to reach the finish line in Brazil. It was very emotional finish with her whole team, everybody around her when she got to the finish line there. and then of course see the winner. She actually crossed the finish line in Brazil barefoot. Also a very emotional moment. They tend to be on these 100-mile races. And Sofia, who flown in Portugal to first place, isolated from the rest of the runners. And very interesting to see the three of them adopting a strategy to keep each one close by. So they're not trying to open a gap. And we were seeing there the star of the show. Just a very nice image. And again, the Campo Imperatore. It's the first mark on this on the race. We see here very strong runner, Patricia Berenauska, from coming all the way from Poland. This is an ultra running star here in Gran Sasso, attempting to tackle here the 100-mile, passing the Campo Imperatore. We have a special guest here with us. First of all, I'm going to pass on the word to Pino, who is going to introduce the special guest, and going to ask the team to change the images here from L'Aquila to what's happening out there on the course, and also ask a little bit on the opinion from a mountain guide expert on this particular side of the track, from here to Campo Imperatore all the way to the top.
Abbiamo con noi il responsabile il vicepresidente del collegio delle guide alpine. Sono 10 all'incirca i responsabili delle guide alpine che stanno seguendo lo svolgimento della gara. Abbiamo detto che una grande organizzazione si compone di tantissimi elementi con tantissimi ruoli diversi. Uno dei più importanti sicuramente è quello coperto appunto dalle guide alpine.
Sì, questo percorso si svolge prevalentemente in ambiente montano sul Gran Sasso, e quindi diciamo è l'ambiente dove noi esplichiamo la nostra attività. Del collegio delle guide alpine dell'Abruzzo fanno parte guide alpine ed accompagnatori di media montagna, che sono i professionisti dell'accompagnamento in montagna, istituiti con una legge dell'89, e che ha istituito anche il collegio delle guide alpine, che è il nostro ordine professionale, ed è garanzia per l'utente di un'affidabilità sia dal punto di vista diciamo della sicurezza, e sia della preparazione ad affrontare ciò che può succedere in ambiente montano. Il Gran Sasso è formato da due catene parallele montuose, una diciamo a sud di cime più basse, e l'altra a nord che comprende le cime più alte, compresa la vetta occidentale del Corno Grande, che arriva quasi a 3000 metri, ed è la vetta più alta dell'Appennino. Naturalmente il percorso è stato scelto in modo da evitare qualsiasi tipo di pericolo oggettivo, però non dobbiamo dimenticare che la montagna ci può riservare sempre delle sorprese che possono essere dovute al terreno, alle condizioni meteorologiche, agli improvvisi temporali che sul Gran Sasso sono frequenti, essendo a breve distanza dal mare. E la nostra attività si svolge sia sul Gran Sasso sia sugli altri gruppi montuosi dell'Abruzzo, Sirente Velino, Maiella, e nel Parco Nazionale d'Abruzzo Lazio e Molise, Monti Marzicani. E noi diciamo il compito nostro è portare e riportare in sicurezza i nostri clienti ed anche portare le persone nel posto giusto, nel momento giusto. Adesso si è appena concluso il bramito dei cervi, il foliage e bisogna, ecco, essere in grado poi di capire quando è il momento giusto. Il foliage dura al massimo 10 giorni, per cui in quel periodo le foglie dei faggi si colorano, si cominciano a colorare, si colorano e cadono, per cui basta andare con qualche giorno di ritardo e non si vede ciò che si vorrebbe vedere.
Nella sua esperienza ci sono state situazioni in cui la vostra presenza è stata determinante in senso positivo per l'aiuto, per il soccorso, o cosa ci può dire su questo?
Sì, molti di noi fanno parte anche del soccorso alpino, naturalmente, essendo delle persone già preparate e grossi conoscitori dell'ambiente montano, ma a parte il soccorso prestato a altre persone, ma spesso capita anche che i nostri clienti, persone che stanno facendo delle escursioni con noi, possono incorrere in incidenti. Anche degli incidenti che in città non costituiscono un problema perché uno si mette in macchina e va all'ospedale, come una storta, una slogatura, eccetera, in montagna richiedono la conoscenza di un protocollo di soccorso. Dal chiamare, sembra una cosa banale, ma già chiamare il soccorso nel modo giusto e dare le giuste indicazioni non è una cosa che riescono a fare tutti. Io incontro spesso molta gente che mi chiede, escursionisti che vanno per conto loro, che mi chiedono dove stanno, perché non sanno nemmeno dove sono, quindi nel caso uno deve chiamare il soccorso non gli può dire io sto sul Gran Sasso, perché è come dire io sto a Roma, insomma, bisogna dare le coordinate, bisogna saper dare il punto, saper dire dove si è, dare delle indicazioni se l'elicottero si può avvicinare, come si può avvicinare, se può vericellare. A me è capitato sabato scorso una banale escursione alla Valle del Vasto, una persona ha preso una storta quasi da ferma gli ha creato un problema enorme perché si è rotto il tallone e abbiamo dovuto chiamare il soccorso, stavamo in mezzo a un bosco, abbiamo dovuto indicare dove si potevano calare con l'elicottero, dove si potevano calare il tecnico del soccorso, il sanitario, il medico l'infermiere, per poter prestare i primi soccorsi e poi per sistemare sulla barella il ferito e poterlo verricellare sull'elicottero. Ecco, quindi mi è capitato, ecco, queste cose capitano, ecco, una persona che sta in quelle condizioni qua a Piazza San Bernardino la carichi su una macchina e la porti all'ospedale, insomma.
Allora forniamo anche quest'altra informazione. Chi dovesse avere necessità o piacere di contattarvi, come può farlo?
E noi abbiamo un sito www.guidaalpinabruzzo.it, e anche se basta mettere che è il sito del collegio delle guide alpine, basta comunque su Google mettere collegio guida alpine Abruzzo e appaiono tutte le indicazioni del collegio, compresi i contatti telefonici, eccetera. E poi molti di noi hanno le proprie pagine Facebook, i propri siti personali, per cui se uno scrive guida alpina oppure accompagnatore di media montagna gli appariranno le offerte di escursioni e di arrampicate, di sci alpinistiche che noi proponiamo.
Benissimo, allora la ringrazio a nome del comitato organizzatore, intanto della sua presenza, intanto dell'opera che svolgono lei e i suoi colleghi in questa manifestazione e in generale sul Gran Sasso.
Grazie a voi per averci dato questa opportunità.
Grazie.
So we see here images from the live GPS tracking system with Morgan Pillay, Cody Reeds, followed very closely by Roger. Um, these guys are doing an outstanding race for now. We see that they're going in at a comfortable pace for them, keeping each other close by, and which is a nice strategy, particularly with these ascents. But then I think when they get up there to the top of the mountain, potentially they will try. One of them will try to break through and open a gap. Pino, do you think they will be more conservative on the ascents going together, the three of them? Potentially one of them opens when they get to the top of the mountain, or you think it's wise on a long distance, potentially they will keep on going together for a few longer until we see who is going to attack and try to open the gap?
I think it's depending from the strategy that each one of them is studying before 1 week before the event. It is depending also from their physical condition. Someone could make a first part of the race in going proceeding slowly respect his potential, or some other one could attack in the first part of the race, trying to let on the back the other athletes. Is depending from the different characteristic. I don't know personally the athletes and their history. I'm just looking the different, absolutely different kind of race that they have to follow on the mountain. I understand. I'd like to see them when they are on the floor or when they are going downhill, and it will be absolutely interesting to see the rest of the event. We are now about 135 minutes, 1 hour 35 minutes after the start, and so we have seen about 15 kilometers. They are running really fast, about 6 minutes for a kilometer. So it's absolutely interesting. Now is 1:35 and 30. And we have also some time provisional passing for the athletes. It's fantastic also the technology that is giving us all the information, the athlete, his beam number, the altitude in the moment, the average speed, and so on. Elapsed time 1:36:45 in this moment. Maria Cugna and Rocket, Sofia Rocket.
We're seeing Drica, now Adriana Rosa, that came all the way from Brazil here in the images. I'm going to try and find out here on the GPS tracker the position of Adriana. She is roughly the last position we had, passing the Campo Emperatore. She's maybe close to the 11th kilometer, roughly. We have, in this case, the images from Drika matching exactly the GPS tracker.
Stiamo seguendo, abbiamo la possibilità di seguire in diretta e questo è qualcosa di assolutamente fantastico, quindi ancora una volta grazie alla tecnologia che permette tutto questo. Abbiamo la possibilità di seguire sul nostro schermo le informazioni riguardanti l'altitudine, la velocità istantanea, la velocità media mantenuta dagli atleti durante lo svolgimento della gara. Ad esempio Adriana Rosa ci compare in questo momento la sua velocità media che è pari a 3 miglia e 67 orarie. Naturalmente è più difficile fare il calcolo e trasportarlo da miglia a chilometri, ma è naturalmente un dato molto importante. La distanza sulla strada corrisponde a 6 miglia e 15, ovvero ai 10 chilometri circa. Ricordiamo che il miglio equivale a 1609 metri, quindi questa è la condizione che ci viene presentata. E vediamo gli atleti che si stanno avvicinando all'ostello di Campo Emperatore, ostello che nelle sue immediate vicinanze ospita anche un giardino botanico, un orto botanico per piante tipicamente alpine. Ognuna delle nostre montagne presenta una vegetazione particolare, tipi di erba, fiori che nascono esclusivamente su quel territorio e non su altri. Quindi anche questo è un significato particolare che proprio grazie a manifestazioni di questo tipo viene ad essere conosciuto o in alcuni casi riscoperto. Fortunatamente fino ad ora la gara si è svolta seguendo un iter assolutamente regolare, non ci sono state necessità particolari da parte degli atleti, li abbiamo visti transitare sorridenti al passaggio dell'ostello di Campo Emperatore, ma ricordo siamo ancora alle fasi assolutamente iniziali, 10 chilometri coperti dagli atleti, anche se è trascorsa già 1 ora e 42 minuti circa dal momento del via. Ancora tante situazioni si verranno a presentare con il proseguio della gara, tantissime posizioni che attualmente sono di rilievo potranno variare e quindi ci sarà un continuo alternarsi di fasi e ancor più vedremo cosa succederà dopo che avranno raggiunto la vetta più alta, che è posta all'incirca all'altezza del 16° chilometro, e da lì inizierà una nuova tipologia di percorso con tratti di strada in discesa che presentano anche loro naturalmente con le loro incognite notevoli difficoltà. Vedremo anche quella che sarà la reazione degli atleti al calare della luminosità. È vero che gli atleti sono forniti di una coppia di lampade sul caschetto, però comunque è evidente che una cosa è correre con la luce del sole, con la luminosità regolare, e una cosa è correre con il buio soltanto con la luce artificiale. La ricerca dell'appoggio sul terreno ha una sua importanza e naturalmente può costituire elemento di difficoltà.
And I have the stats here for Cody Reeds, who is leading the race right now, together with Morgan Pillay. We are 1 hour 44 into the race. Cody is now arriving the 8.60 mile, which is around about the 14 kilometer almost. They're going into, the four of them are now dividing. Cody and Morgan Pillay seem to be splitting up. Potentially Morgan opening up a gap before they get to the end of the climb. It's still a long way to go. Maybe some 3 kilometers all the way to the top. And then Alexander and Roger are together, maybe a little bit more conservative behind, seeing what's going to happen in this fight between Cody and Morgan. Now, in the female section, we have, again, it seems the pack, Sofia Rockets, Leticia, and Maria Cunha Cida, two Brazilian runners and a Portuguese runner. Sofia is also the Portuguese national trail running champion in the endurance segments, and Leticia and Cida, some of the best trail runners and ultra runners in South America, Brazil. Here, following together close one to the other, potentially just measuring themselves to see how they keep up on the ascents, but also having some fun. It's normal on the 100-mile races to have conversations between the runners as well, because they're going into an enough pace where they can talk, sharing experiences for sure from the race in Brazil and the race in Portugal. Now, talking about the temperatures here in L'Aquila, we are now, I was just checking, 21 degrees it seems, but it doesn't feel like 21 degrees where we are. But it's very good day for practice of trail running for sure. Almost ideal conditions. It's not raining. There's not too much sunlight at this time as well. The start at 3 p.m. means they have more than 4 hours of sunlight. Then they will go into the night, and of course the temperatures will drop. They need to be very wise in terms of the strategy of clothing they are going to wear during the night to cope with the temperatures. And of course, they will have many, many kilometers on their legs when they are 2, 3, 4 a.m. It's going to be cold out there, potentially a bit windy. It's high mountain. We never know when the weather changes as well. And then into the morning. Now, I was going to ask people if they could go into our last Instagram post and say there if they think it's possible to go under 17 hours and potentially put the breaking 17 comment on the post, or if they think underneath the 16 hours and putting hashtag breaking 16 into our last Instagram post. Come on, everybody. Let's start sharing our ideas there. And also, if people want to bet who is going to win the male and the female on the 100-mile here. We are seeing, of course, these two packs at front, but this doesn't mean anything because on 100-mile races, 160 kilometers with this type of terrain, this amount of elevation, there's so many changes during the race. But here we have very experienced runners, some of the best in the world. So I think they'll have their strategy well thought out in terms of pace, approach to each segment, the clothing they're wearing, the nutrition, which is such an important element in long distance racing. And I strongly believe, this is my opinion, giving it away here publicly, that we are going to have underneath 17 hours. That's what I believe. When we designed the course, we thought potentially someone could come and do underneath 16 hours, but we don't know. No one has ever run this whole course competitively up until now. So it's a great opportunity. First time here in Gran Sasso mountain range to see a 100-mile race and see what the human being is capable of in this environment. So we are having here real-time last official, unofficial, but it's the last checkpoints we have for the runners. I'm going to let my colleague here give the actual numbers, not the ones on the GPS tracker, but the ones we were receiving on the checkpoint.
So the leader in this moment is after, I don't know exactly after how many miles or how many kilometers. The past time is 1:08:37, and at the same time for Morgan Pillay, then Alexander Raffensteiner. Raffensteiner is one athlete that was taking the bib quite at the last moment. He's 47 years, he's an Italian, but you know that all the people that lives in the absolutely not part of Italy as like a German surname. He's an Italian. Actually, in this moment, is in third position. That we see Darigard in fourth position, 1:10:23. Emanuele Ludovisi, other Italian, 1:14:56. And Scribano 1:24:59:01. Stefano Corrado 1 hour 28:59. Maurizio D'Agostino 1:32 and 32. These are the first 8 athletes that was passing there. And this one is the women situation. Maria Cunha is leading 1:10:08. Sofia Rocket 1:10:08. Do you see how we say, yes, well, Rocket? In the third position, Letizia Saltori 1:10:17. So is absolutely nothing after this part of the race. Patricia Bresnowska 1:24:45. But I'm not sure, but I'm confident that the Polish athlete could increase their position. I don't know why. It's a feeling. I don't know why. I don't know her. And then Adriana Rosa, 1:37:24. Emilia Kotiovac, 1:38:19. 6 athletes passing. So it's a total of 14 athletes.
I was going to say that potentially your opinion on Patricia Bereznowska is because she's more of an ultra runner than an ultra trail runner. Although she sometimes does long mountain trail races. In fact, 2 weeks ago, she won a 90K race. So Interesting to see how last month she breaks the 48-hour European record doing laps around a course, then wins 90K and comes here to tackle a 100-mile race. It's quite remarkable.
90K is a sprint race.
But of course, if Patricia is more of an ultra runner per se, then she's going to potentially be more conservative in the first ascent. Uh, Leticia, Sophia, Rocket, and Sid are more ultra trail runners, so they will potentially go faster on the ascents. But then, when we get to more flats or the descents after the first climb, potentially Patricia can start to increase her pace and potentially close the gap. But I'm sure Patricia always follows her strategy. She doesn't care about any other runner. So whatever she has in mind for this race, she's not going to be, or normally she's not influenced by what anybody else is doing in the race. But in fact, they're all so experienced that I could say this maybe about any of them. They're running their own race. However, this group, three females are together. So are they running their own race now, you think? Or you think because they are close together, they are trying to measure the performance of one another, seeing when they break through?
Also, this one is a particular situation because some people has the necessity to run together, to stay in a group. Some other one, normally they are the leader or are crazy or are leader. They decide to run for themselves. They want to stay alone. Also, if they are on the mountain, they prefer to have no contact with other athletes and proceed with their own foot. So we shall see going on. We are quite near 2 hours from the start, 1:55 in this moment. And
I was going to ask you a question. How much do you think that the fact we have for the male and female winner, for example, 6,000 euro prize money, how much do you think this can affect these athletes' performance, or do you think it doesn't really affect anything?
if I could be 40 years less, I go to run because it's absolutely important. I didn't disturb you before 30 minutes ago when we spoke about the prize money, but you have to believe me. 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was a speaker in a short trail, and when I was showing the depliant of the 100, they said, but it's really what you say, are they really going to organize this event? Because we have seen that there is money and the people doesn't believe because in Italy, I think it's absolutely the first time they have money, they receive prize money to run, and not only the first and the second, but there are different possibility to reach money. This one is absolutely a great incentive, and also because winning a race like this one is entering in a personal curriculum that give you honor and give you the possibility going in other kind of event to pretend something more. And I think that after L'Aquila, after the 100 final series, uh, also other organizer should enter in this kind of idea. They have to begin to think to introduce a prize giving money, or like appearance money, or like you want prize money for the result he obtained. And I'm also sure that we have absolutely take care of the performances they reach because like for the road race, we shall arrive soon as possible to have a record of the event, to have a prize for the athlete able to beat the record, and any kind of window that can be open from L'Aquila going on. Thanks to you.
Well, actually, it's a dream that started a few years ago. For us, the organizers, for myself personally, um, that came up with the concept for the 100 World Series. It's a dream really that comes true here in Gran Sasso. Um, but it's this prize money aspect is very important to note to everybody watching at home that trail running is potentially the fastest growing sport in the world, and the brands involved in trail running, technical brands, running shoes, have been experiencing immense growth over the past few years, some tripling, quadrupling their revenues and profits as well. And this is just the um, evolution of the sports, because we now see brands with turnover above $1 billion in trail running shoes in a year, with a market that's worth several billions. And it's the time that athletes that enable this industry to grow as it's growing, to take part of the cake as well. Because after all, who is the star of the show? The star of the show is the athlete. And the athlete uses the tests the gear, uses the gear, the running shoes, everything, and they help it to improve. They are the ones who are bringing more people into the sport, more people to come out of their couches and come to the mountain on the weekends and start running and doing exercise. It's so important for the health of the population as well. So when we think about it from an holistical perspective, from all angles, if the athlete is the start of the show, and if this is an industry and a very profitable one for many companies already, it's the time that an organizer comes, like we're here, and invests at the start in showcasing the athlete's performance, their history, their backgrounds, because 100-mile, 100K runners are special characters that train very hard and go out there to test themselves really very strongly against the elements, such long distance with this amount of elevation. And it was about time that they get a compensation and that they are honored that this technology enables as well. Here we are seeing the runners out there up in the mountain. We can see images, we have the GPS tracking, we have checkpoints with almost live results. We're able to comment on the race as it's happening. And it was not long ago that we were trying to find the links on internet. Where is the runner? My friends, my brother, where is that runner I like so much? How is he or she doing? Right now, with the technology that OneHundred is bringing, we can bring this experience to everybody watching at home, watching here also at Piazza San Bernardino in L'Aquila. Here we are speaking English, speaking Italian, people from around the world, runners from different nationalities. But more important is, in the first edition, and this says a lot about Gran Sasso, about L'Aquila, having so many top elite athletes in the first edition. And I've been involved in following the sport for a long time. I've studied the trail running sport inside out, and it's very rarely, if not the first time, we see so many top elite runners on a first edition of a race. So I think it says a lot about what's being built here.
I'm not able to give an answer to many different arguments you was touching, but I think I was not studying, but reading with interest all the information regarding the 100 final in L'Aquila. I have seen that this kind of races have an increase of 12% each year. I have seen that there is not a case that many countries have a team working that have a team working for the 100. I have seen that there is one team for the 100 in Portugal, in Brazil, in Wales, in Italy, and is going to be created probably in the United States. And there is the team that you are coordinating all over the world with all the organizer, with all the athletes. I have to be, I have to say you that I'm in hurry with many Italian athletes because don't see a so great participation of Italian athletes like I can or I could imagine. Is not a good tie for the Italian athletes, and I'm sure that after the event, when they shall see the images, when they shall have the possibility to check the result of the event and to receive all the information regarding the organization, they will be not glad with themselves for not participating. So this one is absolutely important. Every time you have to start from zero to reach 100. But you are not starting from zero, you are starting from a very good level of organization with technology, like you said before, with the information that we are giving to all the people here in L'Aquila and all the people that can listen us from YouTube.
Well, thank you very much for those kind words,
Consideration.
consideration. But in fact, yes, we, uh, we can say in a way we are starting from zero, but it's already 4 years into this. Even during COVID, we organize individual events with some top athletes in different countries, 2 continents as well. So we continue to bring sports to the houses of everyone with runners running safely, with GPS tracking, live streaming. What we have been doing for 2 years is actually testing everything that we are using here today. And here we are again receiving images from such a beautiful mountain. This is really what makes this sport so special. The symbiosis between the human being and the mountain is something really spectacular. This is the best that we can see really in any sport. For me, it's the most beautiful sport in the world. The human being, which was meant to run in nature, running in the mountain, in a competition, but at the same time, such a good experience these runners are taking home with them and for the rest of their lives. They now know who they are, what they can conquer, and they can apply that to everything. But when you're a beginner runner, you go more calmly, you start building a pace. After a few years, a few races, you start doing better and better from a performance standpoint. Now, really, when you then build a team, you can already select some of the best runners, and you can be not as fast, but you are in the middle. For me, this is exactly what happens when building an organization like 100. You bring the best trail running organizers in each country, the best or race organizers, not only trail running, even road running, that are used to mass participation events, which is very different. Organizing a race for 200, 400, 600 people and organizing a race for 8,000, 10,000, 12,000 people is a completely different story. So we need to have experience from all angles. We need support from investors, from sponsors, from public entities and tourism departments, local councils, town halls, everything that we've been having, we haven't built alone. It's not really from zero because we have combined potentially 1,000-year experience between everyone to be able to deploy the World Series and host these events. Now, I think we are going to cut the transmission now, and as soon as we have images from the next live station, we are going to come back live. You can carry on following the race on our GPS tracking system. If you go directly to our website, 100.run, you'll see 3 buttons there. One for the live streaming you're watching here, another one for the GPS tracking, and the other for the live results. We've also published the program for today live streaming, and later on today we'll be also publishing the program for Saturday and Sunday, so you can follow all the events here from the 100-miler, the 100K tomorrow as well, and then the 13K and the 15K on Saturday. So stay there, keep watching. We'll let you know when we come back live. And let's keep on cheering for the runners that are up there in Gran Sasso competing with all their strength.